right, everyone. It's another edition of From the Margins with our dear friend James Lafont. Jimmy, how are you? It's the primaries are over.
Yeah, and they're interesting. Let me put it in both parts because Republicans like to talk about the Democrats, and Democrats like to talk about. I'm going to talk about both. First of all, Corey Mills, like I told you, lost his
Yeah,
election, even though he was endorsed by Donald Trump, and he
yeah,
lost to not a MAGA person. That's the interesting thing. He lost to what I would call a traditional Republican.
yeah.
Okay, so let's start that. There are two other elections that they lost. The candidates that were endorsed by Trump and lost them. Okay, and it is interesting. And some of the races that were won were mostly interesting in how much money was spent in it, and it's going to be interesting these contentions because again, like I said months ago, if you take the map, either was done by a moron or artificial intelligence. But 3, 4, and 6 points advantage is not an advantage in a district that has 33 to 40% independence. Okay,
Yes.
so if there's 4% more Republicans than Democrats, that's fine. But you have to count on those independents, and that's the way
Oh,
you draw a
yes.
map. For those of you who do not know, so I think it's going to be an interesting thing on both sides. Now, on the Democratic side, it's kind of interesting that Debbie took advantage of a race in which there were two blacks competing against each other. Say, "Hey, it's the white girl," and she came up with 29%.
The white Jewish girl.
Yeah, so yes, that was the interesting thing of the night. And to be quite honest, Markowitz also won his new district. Darren's going to his reelection, and that's going to be an interesting thing. Now that we have the primaries out, we're going to see how it's going to break down the elections. Uh, Look, I'm going to say this on both sides. You have some crazy MAGA people out there running, and you have some progressives who are going to be painted all with the same brush,
Yeah.
unfortunately, and I think it's not that fair. Now, the one race that I have to push back a lot
Okay.
is on the election of Angie Nixon.
Let's talk about it.
Why are you people surprised? First of all, they brought in somebody from Washington who moved down here 2 years ago. I'm sorry. He has something to do with the impeachment of Trump, and that might excite some of you. Doesn't excite me at all.
Nope.
Doesn't show me that he's qualified to do shit. And
Right.
he had a bad campaign because you know something? He has $7 million that he's going to have to return. Okay? Because he thought he was winning and he needed to save the money for the general. But guess what? Only a moron as a campaign manager saves money in a primary. You waste all your money in the primary, then you raise new money for the general. Okay.
Exactly.
Now, who is Angie Nixon? I know Angie because as secretary of the party, I've known her. She is a single black mama who has expressed that she has thoughts that she associates with the
J-
Socialist Democrats. Some
Jimmy,
of
I'm
them.
sorry. She is married.
She's married now.
Yeah, I believe 2 years ago, unless
Okay,
that's changed recently, but I
okay,
believe she is married.
okay.
Just
When
a
I met
couple
her
of years.
5 or 6 years ago, she was a single mom. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
so I stand corrected. She is a brilliant person, very smart, very
Hmm.
articulate. Uh, yes, she does believe in certain thoughts of the uh, socialist democratic agenda. Not in all of them. She's never said she wants to defund the police. Okay, she has never said that she wants to defund the prisons. She says that she wants a conversation as to why there's so many black people in prison, more than whites, and have a discussion as to why are we privatizing the jails where the incentive of the new owners of the jail is to keep people in jail. Okay, that which is a conversation. And she does believe that we should try to discuss the thing about healthcare in this country and discuss the issue of immigration and food and other things. Yes, she's against the war in Iran, but most even centrist Democrats are, and most of the country. So that doesn't make you a socialist. That makes you something else. And Angie has been in this state for all her life. She had the support of the black community who came out last night massively to vote, not only in Orange County, but in every county of the state to get their people out and to get their people elected. For those of you who do not know Florida, let me tell you something that you might want to know. The African American community is very well organized because they know that they can win primaries.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because like last night in Orange County, I mean Tuesday night, it was 22%. When it's only 22%, the African American community can their candidates elected. Okay, general is another issue, but they can. So Angie did benefit from that, and the fact that they tried to again to impose to us somebody that we do not know, somebody who has no history in this state at
That's
all.
cool.
We just said fuck
Yep.
you to the Democratic Party.
Yep.
So
That's
it was
correct.
not that this party elected. It's so look, Ashley, don't go there. You are implicated in the theft of $10 million that was taken from Medicaid to put into the campaign against marijuana. You're part of that. So shut your mouth up, because if that comes out, being wanting to have health care for everybody is not as bad as stealing money from kids, health care, and spending it on something else. So let's not be there. And plus, Ashley, you're not a good campaign. You never have been. You were appointed, and now let's see how you can do. I think that's going to be an interesting race. And I'm not going to say that I'm surprised about Jolie. I'm not surprised at all. I will say one thing: is the person he picked as lieutenant governor, Graham. She's very good.
Yeah.
She can campaign. She knows how to campaign. She has her father's resources in the state, and there's a lot of Democrats that owe her favors. So yes, she is going to be formidable. The rest of the races we will see, because it's like I've been telling to you people, it is not that there's one more million of Republicans in the state than Democrats. That's because Nikki has not done her job in the last 5 years, but that's a story for another day, another. But there's a 40% of independents in the state. That if 52% of them go Democrat, we could have a Democratic governor and a Democrat senator. So let's not underestimate their power. Right now, if I was running a campaign, I could assume that Republicans are going to vote Republican, and I could assume that Democrats are going to vote Democrat. I would be working that independent vote to now share. And I think you would have to agree with that one.
I agree with you as a independent, registered independent. I agree. Either side will have to aggressively persuade independent voters. Specifically, the onus is on Democrats since their numbers, registration numbers, are much lower than Republicans. And speaking to which, in regards to the Moody Nixon race, I think it's, to be honest, I think it's over already. And I say that because I looked at the primary numbers and the number of votes that Nixon received versus the number of votes that Moody received. And granted, your hardcore voters come out during the primaries, and Nixon received about 700,000 votes. Moody received 1.4 million votes. And so I'm looking at that number, and if that's the baseline, we can even throw Vindman's numbers in there. If I'm looking at that as the baseline, not
if you
all
throw in
Democrats,
Vindman's number, they match.
They match. However, right, let me fit, right. However, realistically, not all of Vindman's voters are going to vote for Nixon. Either they're going to vote for Moody or they're not going to vote for anyone. But let's hypothetically, let's say you throw in Vindman's numbers, then we'll have to throw in
They're
the
not.
rest of the.
They're not going to vote for Republican. No,
I think they will.
richer Democrats are not going to vote for Democrat. And you have. I'm going to tell you what you're not thinking of.
No. Then
Your numbers don't
before you
jive.
get there,
They don't
let
jive.
me. I may meet you there. Remember, Jimmy, that your hardcore, your highest propensity voters vote in the primary, and so when you get to the general, you get everyone else, and you get those Democrats and Republicans who vote once in a while, but they're going to vote. Now, if I'm a Democrat, 60-something-year-old Cuban in South Florida, and I have a choice between you know Democrat Socialist, self announced Democrat Socialist Angie Nixon versus Republican Ashley Moody.
Oh,
I'm
whoa,
gonna
whoa,
vote.
whoa, 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 whoa!
I'm gonna vote
Corrupt,
for Moody.
corrupt Republican Ashley Moody.
Okay, I
But she's going to get
I'll
that
take
tag.
that. I'll take that. I'll take that. Corrupt.
Corrupt.
I'll take that. I'll still vote for Ashley Moody over someone who is willing to take away my freedoms as an American and give them away to someone else.
What freedoms is he going to take away?
Well, first of all, I think you said that she was in favor of health care for all, Medicare for all.
No. I did not say that.
Okay,
I said she's in favor of us studying and making better decisions about healthcare.
okay, we'll put that to the side. What's her here's one. Here's one. So, what's her position on immigration?
Immigration, responsible immigration with people having a way to come into this country legally.
So she's with Moody on that.
No.
Right?
No.
But you said her position is that she will want.
Moody is anti-Hispanic. Everybody knows that. She wants to close the southern border. She will allow people from Europe to come in. Yes. She would not allow people from Africa to come in because those are. Moody is a little bit different.
Okay, I think you're moving the goalposts here.
You're qualified. You fill out the paperwork. You could come in here in a legal process. No problem. I don't care if you come from Europe. I don't care if you come from Africa. I don't care if you come from India. As long as you follow the procedures, you could come in. Moody is close to South. Do not allow anybody who speaks Spanish into this country. Period. The same with Africa. She wants only Europeans and people. So yes, there's a difference. Look, I know
I don't think so, Jimmy. I really don't think so. And I got one more point. Because I must admit I did listen to an interview with her that she made the other day, and what I heard from her own mouth is a lot different than what you're telling me. But here's one more. She is in favor of reversing the Supreme Court's ruling on the Voting Rights Act, Section 2, which determined that Section 2 was a racial gerrymander and thus illegal.
No, that's not what the Supreme Court said.
What does the Supreme Court say?
It took its course. It's no longer needed.
Okay.
In their world, there's no more need to do it because there's no more discrimination, and that's their opinion. And I differ from it, but that's their opinion. But not that it's illegal. They never, very rarely. Well, they don't declare anything illegal. Unconstitutional sometimes, but not always. But no, it's look. There's a lot of people in this country and in your community that want to reinstate the Voting Act, and I understand that. And that does not take a right away from you. That that is something that your white friends are trying to convince you from UCF that say this is look. The truth of the matter is that there's a lot of people in this country who believe that the Voting Act should be brought back, and I have no problem with that. And it doesn't not take away rights from anybody. That's bullshit. It never did. It never has. It tried to create a balanced field, but to say that that takes rights away from you, no, that's a bag of bullshit. And you can bring your
Okay.
friends here to debate that point, and I'll prove to them that that's bullshit.
No,
Sorry.
I'm just echoing what I saw her say on the news
No. And
the
look,
other day.
and this, and if you're gonna tell me that I'm disqualified because I want to bring back the Voting Act, then I could bring you about 10 things, Moody, that would disqualify for me because she does not believe, with all due respect, she stole money to go against the right of people in this state to decide if they want to use weed. I'm sorry. She did that. She's a thief. She's corrupt. Two, she's done nothing. She's presenting no legislation as a senator. Zero. None. Three, with all due respect to her, her opinion is that it is okay to beat up somebody and then ask questions. And that's her opinion on ICE, for the record. No, they could do whatever they want. Then we will stand and see if they did something. No. That's her position. Four, she has and always has been against certain books in the libraries. I believe in communities deciding what books their kids should read and what books they shouldn't read, and not our relationship. That is taking the right away from me. The right of me to say, hey, yes, this is what my kids should be reading. This is what my kids should not be reading. And by the way, for the record, that includes that she believes, well, from what she expressed, that the Bible should not be in schools. She's never used the word Bible, but the way she says what she says about books that should be eliminated, that includes the Bible. Because for those of you who have never read the Bible but claim that you have, there's a lot of things about a bull and his balls and handling and that are kind of sexual in nature. Okay, and with all due respect to everybody, that should be out. So what I'm trying to say right now, Moody has some things that the left would go, ugh! And yes, Nixon has things that the right would go, ugh! The question is, how much is the center going to go? That's a good question, because we tend to think that everybody thinks like us, and that is what has destroyed this country. This is the way I think, and I think this because I think this way. Everybody else is going to think this way, and it's going to look. There's a chance that Moody wins, but it's not going to be that close. Why is not going to be that close? Because basically at this point, I do not know. Different from you, I do not know how independents are going to react. But I do know one thing, including the election that we had in Pennsylvania last Tuesday, that special election, in a Republican district that Donald Trump won by 20%, we got a so-called social democrat elected for that seat. And that one he is. Angie is not even close to him. So and guess what? And that special election is what I've been trying to preach to you and talk to you that people are ignoring me. 48% of the people who voted in that election were independents. And for him to win in a district that had 5% more Republicans than Democrats in that district, that tells you that 52 to 55% of all the independents voted for him. There is a wave that we don't want to talk about because everybody's thinking that it's crazy. Republicans have lost whole seats. Okay. Right now, we know that there's, of all the senators' races, There's only one that the Democrats have in danger. The Republicans have 5. That's the truth of the matter. And I don't know how independents are going to go, but if they continue going the way they have been going, I'm sorry. The people are angry. They're fed up. I know that you disagree with this. You think for some stupid reason that I can never understand, because as a military person, the only way you win a war is when the other side surrenders, which the other side hasn't.
No, no. Oh,
No,
no.
no.
That's not
Military,
the only way you win a war.
no, that's the only way
Oh,
you
no,
win.
no, no.
No, you have
No,
not.
Jimmy.
No, not
Oh,
no, no, no.
there's other ways. There's
No,
other ways.
well, we'll talk about that in a
You
few
can win
minutes.
by attrition.
There's no nutrition. They're doing well. I'm sorry. You don't know their history, and your little friends from the UCF have told you all these little things that they believe in, and I said they believe in them, but they're wrong. But let me bring this back to where I'm trying to get to.
Okay.
Independents are going to decide this race, this thing, and right now, the majority of this country, like it or not, believes that the war is still going on. As a matter of fact, this Monday, for those of you who do not know it, this Monday, the memorandum of misunderstanding expired. So there's no agreement at this point. So both parties are free to do whatever they want. And the moron in Washington got pissed off with Oman because he didn't read the memorandum of misunderstanding that said that Oman and Iran were to sit down to work out this issue. And what they were doing is following the memorandum of understanding. Then when he understood was, oh, well, but yeah, and he backed off. Oman was just doing what the memorandum said to do, which Donald J. Trump signed. But be that as it may, right now, independents in this country are angry, like the rest of this country. They're angry with $4 a gallon of gas, and with the president saying there's no problem with having $4 of gas, and they just get used to it because it's going to continue going. We're seeing a war that they don't like, they're not in agreement with, continuing to go, with kids dying more and more, with it being mismanaged completely professionally, and with this country going in what they perceive the wrong way. So at this point, even Republicans think that the economy sucks. So if they think it, I cannot think that independents are going to think much different. And even the trying of some of these so-called people say, well, we need to adjust to this, we need to adjust to that. No, we don't. We were told and promised, I'm going to come and I'm going to fix, not that I'm going to screw. So with that in mind, let me go to what I'm trying to say to you about Iran.
Okay.
Bassett doesn't know what he's doing because Bassett doesn't understand Iran.
Oh my!
He doesn't.
Oh no! Not Scott Bassett. Not our Treasury Secretary. What you got for us?
Okay. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
For 47 years, the United States, Israel, and Europe have tried to choke Iran. Have they succeeded? No.
They have failed miserably, and as recently as the Obama
and they're going to continue. Okay, let me tell you the truth of Iran. That your friends from UCF have no idea because they don't understand it. All they understand is to back Trump. Okay, first of all, Iran has an economic system which is completely different from us. But Iran has seven countries that they have border with. I mentioned them, those to you, so you know who they are. Turkey, Armenia, Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iraq. And guess what? They do business with all of those countries. All of them. Why? Because the United States, instead of saying, hey, putting pressure on them, has pissed them off. All of them, especially Afghanistan. Okay? Some of them don't have oil. As far as this year goes, this year, Iran, through crypto, which is the other thing that our president loves and all the Republicans love, crypto.
I love it.
Has sold $43 million of petrol to those 7 countries and has been paid with crypto.
Okay. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, Jimmy, because
Okay.
Operation. Well, go ahead. Economic.
Operation,
Theory.
I said bullshit is not going to work. That's what I'm trying
Okay,
to tell you. It's not going to
it,
work
it's
because
working. It's
no,
working,
it's not.
Jimmy. Yes,
Look,
it is, Jimmy. Yes, it
okay,
is.
no, it isn't. You
Yes,
could
it
say
is,
yes,
Jimmy.
it is because your friends have told you that, but it isn't.
No,
Eh,
no. The,
Okay,
the,
so
the,
has it
the
stopped?
information is out there. Even Hillary Clinton admitted that it's working.
Hillary doesn't know what she's talking about either.
Oh, Jimmy, no,
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 she doesn't.
no,
Look,
no. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, former Democratic nominee for the President of the United States, also admitted that Scott Bessett's Operation Economic Fury is working. We are choking them financially. All
okay,
their threats are nothing. In regards to those
okay.
countries, you
Look,
mentioned
you
Afghanistan,
keep saying that these
Taliban,
people say these
Afghanistan,
things.
Jerry.
Let
Really?
me give you the true numbers, okay? Let me give you the true numbers.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
What are the dates on those numbers in the sources?
And the sources, I'll give you one of them.
Okay.
Fareed Sakara.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
I'll give you one of the principal ones. Okay.
Okay.
The other one, for those of you who do not know, is a uh, oh my god, from England. I'll remember his name in a few. Piers Morgan. Okay.
Oh.
One of
Okay.
your conservative friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
The MTG Tucker Carlson Megyn Kelly ilk. But go ahead.
Okay. Well, hey, you
And
don't have
Alex
a source.
Jones.
You don't have a source. All you have
Oh,
is
I'll bring up my sources very
no,
quickly.
you have no sources. Those guys are invented. But let me put it this way: the economy of today of Iran is $270 billion that has been destroyed. As of today, they have
Gone.
sold
No.
through crypto, $43 billion in petroleum and oil alone. Okay,
Sure.
they produce their own cars,
Okay.
their own appliances,
Okay.
their own clothing. They sell to Turkey, to Armenia, and these other countries, and their exchange as of this year through the borders is over $270 billion this year.
Sure.
They have learned, after 47 years of oppression, to be nationalists, to have dignity and pride in their country, and to live with less. Okay? They
Okay.
have learned to live with less. They have not depended, and here's the biggie, they have not depended in the US economy or in any other economic source other than the one that is still buying from them left and right, China, which Bassett has put no dent in whatsoever because China does not follow what he's doing. They're paying them in crypto and they have the money to pay their bills. By the way, for those of you who do not know this, the U.S. is so naive about what they're doing is that do you know who controls construction in Iran?
I would say it would be the Iranian people because there's no one else there.
No, you're
Who's that?
close, but you're wrong. It's the Iranian National Guard. The guard.
Oh yeah, the IRGC. Yeah.
So basically, the more you destroy, the more money they're making. So when you're asking how they're going to be paid, they're being paid from the money that they're making. But for those of you who do not know this, Iran exports to the world an average of this year more than $18 billion of food that comes out of its ports, and because it's food, it's not being touched, and it cannot be touched. Also, Iran right now has been bombarded, has had some plan from some idiot called Bassett put on them, yet they have not come to the negotiating table. This is the same thing we were told by Ronald Reagan in '79 that we were going to choke them economically and they were going to come over. The details of the plans were never discussed, not like Bassett either.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth of the matter is, the Iranians have been, for the last 47 years, learned how to survive. And that's the part that I think everybody has taken on, has underestimated them. Is Bassett plan working right now? No, the war's still on. Are they still selling to China? Yes. And China is spending billions and billions of dollars there? Yes. And by the way, that the other countries that are going to get their oil out of the way, it's not going to hurt Iran, because Iran is selling their own oil to the people that they're going to sell it to. They have not lost anything. And by the way, it has two major ports that are not closed. Did you know that? No, you didn't.
Yes. Yes. I mean, President Trump has made it very clear he does not want to see the people of Iran, the civilians, suffer. And
So
therefore,
they don't suffer. How's it going to be a rebellion?
well, I'm not too sure if you know this, but there have been sporadic uprisings in Iran. It's
Yes,
not.
and there was a major who was arrested for saying that Donald Trump should be impeached. Look, there's protests in every
It's
country.
true. Right.
Does that mean that's look right now? Right now, this haven't been one in over 6 months. Is the government controlling it? Maybe. I'm
I,
not going to say no, but the truth of the matter is, right now, food is coming through, money's coming through. They're travel. If you want to travel, you can. This is something that most of you do not even know this, but I'm going to tell you this. You can fly out of Tehran to most European countries, to most Asian countries, with no problem whatsoever. And people are flying in from there, no problem whatsoever. So they are doing business with 7 neighbors, who, by the way, are doing business with other neighbors, such as India, which is right next to Pakistan, for those of you who do not know that.
Mhm.
They're doing business. Bassett, this is the problem that Bassett's plan has.
Mhm.
We have lost our alliances with other countries to
No.
put pressure on anybody, not Iran, on anybody. So
No.
realistically, I have very little faith, and this is me, from reading from Sakara, reading from Piers Morgan, reading from other newspapers in Armenia, which admit that they're doing business currently with Iran, with Pakistan, who's buying oil from them with no problem whatsoever. They're what you would call it. Their big things are going through with no problem whatsoever. The stretch is semi-closed, but it's mostly closed by Iran than by the U.S.
Mm.
And the truth of the matter is, right now, and I don't see the people of Iran starving, up in
Ooh.
arms, or
Ooh.
anything like that. They produce enough food to feed themselves. That's the problem that you do not know. This
Okay.
is a very large country with a lot of
90
agriculture,
million people.
and they have 90 million people. Yes, and by the way, what they can't get from them, they get it from Turkey, they get it from Armenia, they get it from what you would call it, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and all those other countries. So they trade with them. You see, they're not close away as your bullshit government would like you to think. They
Well,
are.
well,
They
well,
go
Jimmy, taking that logic, and I'm glad you mentioned the food and all that stuff. The stuff that is that a society needs to thrive, food, et cetera, et cetera. Going back what you said about the IRGC, that they're in control of the construction. They're not just only in control of construction, they're in control of the levers of authority, of economy, and so forth and so on in Iran. That has been true from day one. It's been the clerics, it's been the Ayatollah, it's been the IRGC. They
I
get paid
agree.
first. They get
I
paid
agree.
first, and then second. And I brought this up last time. So, one of the reasons that this administration has not gone after the civilian population and the civilian infrastructure is because that will be catastrophic for the 93 million Iranians, citizens, civilians. That will be counterproductive because if they are targeted and they fall on severe times, we've got a humanitarian crisis. I think you can agree with that. And they will stream out of Iran. And where would they go? They would go to Iraq, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia, the EAU, Oman, Egypt, so forth and so on. You have an even bigger humanitarian crisis. These other countries don't want that. They want this contained to Iran, So by not going after the civilian infrastructure, that means that you don't have a refugee problem across the Middle East. That's a good idea. That's pretty smart, I believe, on this administration's part.
You're giving this administration too much.
Let me finish.
Your friends created that myth.
The Iranian lira is worth pennies to the dollar. Again,
and
you
the
have
dollars
to you have to get a barrel of liras to buy a
the euro and less than a gem. Just so you know that too.
What's that? Are we talking about the yen?
It's less than a euro and less than a yen. Just so you know that, because we like.
But we're still the strongest currency in the world.
No,
everything goes back to the United States dollar.
No.
That's going to change. That's going to strengthen.
No.
That's going to strengthen.
That's one of the consequences of crypto. No, it isn't. Right now, it's still British. The pound is the most powerful of all, followed by the euro, followed by the gem, and then followed by the US dollar.
But everything is in US dollars. Period.
No, not really. Okay. Right now, I hate to say this, the 43 billion that I told you is through crypto.
That Iran was using?
Yeah.
Oh, we choked that off a long time ago, Jimmy. We have been.
Oh no, you did not. You did not.
The United States has been following that for.
No.
That's been choked off a long time ago, Jimmy.
That's a lie. It has not been choked. Nobody controls crypto, and you know that. If there's one thing about crypto, it's that it's not controlled.
Come on, Jimmy.
Controlled. It isn't.
Come on, Jimmy.
You know that. That's why you invest in it.
One kinetic activity in Iran, and then here they go, sending crypto to this entity or that entity to the IRGC. You just follow where the transactions are going. And that's what they did with Maduro. That's what they're doing in South America. That's what they're doing with blowing up those cigarette boats that are, transporting drugs into the United States. Every kinetic energy lights up phones and crypto rails, and we are tracking it. That is a fact.
So, no, that's not a fact.
Also, Jimmy, the oil that China was getting. The oil that China was getting, they're paying the same price as everyone else now. And there's about 10 million gallons leaving. 10 million barrels or gallons? I don't know. But there is oil leaving even the Straits thanks to the United States.
Yeah. Continue buying the bullshit your friends from UCF. That's all right.
But Axios reported that. Axios. One of you all
reported. And you're correct, but you're misleading everybody.
Oh,
okay.
Barrels versus
reported that the oil was coming out. No, wait a minute. Let's say the whole thing because you like to cherry pick like your friends from UCF. Also said that that's a minuscule amount of what used to be going through the stretch.
Half.
No. Minuscule was the word they used. Read the article. It's minuscule.
Half.
And
I read the article and I verified the article. It's half.
And for the record, people, let me prove that he's wrong.
Okay.
The price of gas isn't coming down.
We don't
Even
control the price of oil.
well,
We went through that already, Jimmy. You got the Brent.
yeah, and your friends from UCF tell you it's London, and you believe that.
London sets the price of oil.
No, it doesn't.
Who does, Jimmy? The
OPEC
traders. No, they don't.
traders, yes. And you know where they trade oil?
London,
No, and where else? New York
UAE.
and New York. Is there exchange in New York?
Yeah.
Do
Yeah,
they?
but the price of oil is set by the traders and the banksters in the city of London.
That's the bullshit that your friends from UCF have told you. There's no proof of that.
But
The
Jimmy,
kids are good
but Jimmy,
liars. I'm going to
but
give them
Jimmy,
credit. They're good liars.
no, I'm not lying. I got facts. And again, I will challenge
Look, let me ask you a
anyone,
question. If your facts come
to
from your friends
debate
from
me.
UCF, you have a problem.
Who are these folks from UCF? But anyway, again, Jimmy, I'll lay out all my resources, my sources, and research and debate anyone, and dare them to counter with whatever they have to counter. Am I 100% correct? I'm sure I'm a decimal point off or something like that. But even that, again, the Axios report, if you verify it, it will tell you, oil is like we reach about half of the output before
let
the
me ask you
war.
a question. Does the Axial report mention anything about London controlling the price of gas?
No. That's something that I'm aware of. That's not in that report. That's something that I've long been
You don't
aware of.
have any source other than you've been told that, and that's what I'm trying to get to. But let
Okay,
me let me go back to what I want to really go back with this. Look, the truth of the matter, I'm going to make it very simple for you. Look, people, we are suffering the oil prices because of the war. We have 18 soldiers that have died because of this war. We are at war with Iran. We are affecting the national economy and the world's economy because of this war. And what they're trying to tell us is that some idiot who has screwed up the national economy beyond comprehension, called Mr. Bassett, who is such a big liar, who will tell you that terrorists are paid by the people who sell the products and not by us. That's the person that's why you don't trust him, because he knows better. He knows that's a lie. But be that as it may, I'm not going to go there that much. This is the truth. Our economy is suffering because of this war. No ifs, no buts, no thing about it. If you think this war was necessary,
Yes,
I would like to examine your head, because there's no reason we were not threatened by this country. That was a great havoc in the Middle East. For some matter, so were other countries, which remain nameless. And that this has been going on for years. Okay. Yes. Is there a fight among Muslims? Syria? I agree. That's fine. They don't get along. That's an issue for another day. But for those of you who thought we should not get involved in any more foreign wars, this is a foreign war, like it or not. Okay? Is this a war that's protecting us, our shores? No. Just like in Vietnam, we're fighting communism. We have to end communism. Well, guess what? It never did. We tried Iran before. These people, for the last 46 years, have been choked to death economically by us, by England, by other countries, and they have survived. As a matter of fact, they make Gladys Garner look as that song was written for them. And for those of you who do not know who Gladys Garner is, she sang "I Will Survive." Great song. And if there's a country that it applies to after 47 years, it's them. You have to give them kudos. And one of the things that Ulysses Grant told us, and he was right, in war, if you underestimate your opponent, you lose. And I think, and this is what I'm trying to end with, this part of it, I think that Donald Trump underestimated Iran. He thought that he was going to bombard it for 10 straight days and they would surrender. He did bombard it for 10 days. Let's not take that away from it. He did. and they did surrender. They have attacked us. They continue to attack us. They are belligerent. They've told us on more than one occasion to go fuck ourselves, but we won the war. But they told us to go fuck ourselves. That's kind of interesting on their part. Their economy is going. If it's strong or weak, that's something that we can debate, but they're going. Their people are being fed. And by the way, for those of you who do not know who the Revolutionary Guard are, they're guards at night, and during the day they work in the government. They're civilians. They're not real soldiers like ours. They are civilians who work during the day in different things. And that's why when I say they control construction, it's because most of them are construction workers. For those of you who did not know that, let me tell you that's a little secret. So the truth of the matter is there's nothing new in this choking plan, and it's not going to survive. And the concern I have is for how much longer are we going to have to see this work to see our economy to improve? Are we really willing to wait another 2 or 3 years at $4 and $5 a gallon of gas with the hope that we might choke their economy? Because it's not coming close. I'm sorry. For those who keep telling you it is, they're getting their crypto, they're getting their money, they're getting paid. As a matter of fact, if anything, we benefited them. China used to pay them under. Now China is paying them fair market. So instead of making 10 billion, now they're making 20 billion. But that's something that, using what he just said, that we have helped them with that. And to be quite honest, look, most of their payments that they're doing, I'm going to end with this, that is coming directly from a crypto account owned by China, which, one, we don't have the cojones to touch. I'm going to call it out. We don't have the cojones to touch. And two, they need to pay something that comes out of there, and it comes directly. And some of the ships that come and pick up their petroleum, they come with cash. Not necessarily U.S. cash. I will accept that. It's not U.S. cash. But it comes with euros, which basically all their neighbors will accept in payment. So it's not that difficult or that bad. So at this point, learn from Iran and learn from Ukraine. Two small countries that everybody thought they could beat the crap out of them, and it hasn't succeeded. But look, I'm not pro one or the other. I am trying to wake you up to realize that this is not a dumb deal. That this Bassett thing could work, but I doubt it because it hasn't worked in the past. And with all due respect, with China paying Iran's bills and we're not going to stop them, I'm not sure how good of a choke it's going to be. So that said that, let's go into the next subject that we have.
Real quick, Jimmy, just a quick exercise in regards to the oil prices and gas prices. So someone's definitely making a profit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay,
and by the way, U.S. producers are making a profit. Even when they sell to other countries, they're making a profit. They're not doing it for the generosity or for the well-being of anybody. I mean, even the price that you're... Look, and let me tell you something that you want to know and you ought to know. Okay? The gas that you put in your tank here in Florida is produced here in the United States. That's nothing to do with the stress your families. It comes from refineries in Louisiana and Texas, and it's extracted in Oklahoma, Texas, California, Pennsylvania. It's our gas, and they're charging us $4. So when you want to talk about son of a bitches, and Bassett, if you really want to help us, start telling the people here to stop ripping us off. But that's you're okay with that because they put money in your pocket because you're a corrupt politician. That's not a problem. But really, let's talk and let's say it clear. The gas that I put in my tank is from Oklahoma, California, Pennsylvania, or Texas.
Agreed.
Nothing to do with it.
And I'm glad you pointed that out because since that oil and gas is being extracted refined and stored here in America, these oil companies are are reaping the benefits. Correct?
They're taking advantage of the situation. You're
Right.
right. They are.
Exactly.
And,
Okay,
and, let,
great.
and
All
let's
right,
put this.
we agree
And
with
let,
that. We agree with that.
and
And
let's
there's
put
a
this in.
certain.
No, wait a minute. Let's finish this correctly.
Okay. Okay.
This is not Iran.
Correct.
This is not London. This is
That's
us
right.
fucking ourselves. Okay?
Sure. Sure. However, Jimmy, in order to extract that oil, to refine that gas, to store that resource, you need people to do that. Americans. Am I wrong or am I right?
Well, you're wrong in one aspect.
Okay. So
You're,
Americans are
you're,
doing
you're
Americans
assuming.
are doing the
No,
work.
wait a minute. And let me say why I say that you're wrong in one aspect. We always assume that everything in this country is done by Americans. And Americans don't.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Come
Okay.
on, Jimmy.
Oh, hey, wait a minute.
Come on,
Did,
Jimmy.
did, did you guys got pissed off because there was a truck driver who was Mexican here in this country and got into a car accident? You guys got pissed off over that.
Sure
Half of the
did.
people
We
driving
should
the
too.
trucks that take the gas to your gas station, they're not all Americans, is what I'm trying to say. Okay?
Okay. Let's say they're residents of America, correct? Who are paid to do their job, who pay taxes, and
And who
contribute to the
Republicans
economy, correct?
would like to throw out of this country. Let's put it that way.
But Jimmy, they are contributing to the economy.
Oh,
Can we
I'm
agree to
not
that?
going to say that. But when you say Americans, your MAGA people and your Republican friends
Let's let's just
would
say
say
residents.
that they're not. And so I'm just clear.
Let's say residents.
Okay, if you want to say residents, I'll say, look, I I would agree that there's a cost to it, but let's say one
Yeah,
thing.
sure.
I'm not so pro business as you are.
Right.
I am pro people.
Sure.
Uh, I would like somebody to explain to me
Sure.
on February 27th,
Yeah.
I paid $2.99 a gallon, and on March the 3rd, it went up to $3.15. Can somebody explain to me, other than being so greedy, what was the increase in price? There wasn't. They just saw the opportunity and they went for it.
That's correct.
So,
And
and for those of now that he wants to bring it up, I'm going to bring up something even more interesting. Ask the
I
people
get
who
that.
work in the oil fields, ask the people who transport the oil and refine it if they have had an immense raise in their salary, and they will tell you, no, it's the oil owners who are greedy, the Shell, Exxon, uh, Racetrack, I'm trying to remember, Phillips, and all those people who sell you oil are just decided, hey, there's a war in Iran. The price went up, so we're going to fuck the American citizens. Sorry. Look, you could try to depend that bullshit that, well, the Americans work on this. Yes, and Americans work on a lot of things. That doesn't mean that we should be screwing other Americans. Look, it went up, and I'm going to go this way. The 27th of February, gallon of gas was $2.99. 4 days later, it was $3.15. Sorry. Okay? And now it's $3.99. It's $1 more a thing. And I would like them to explain where the cost comes from. There is no cost. It's that they're taking advantage of it. So for those of you who are pro-business, I'm a capitalist. What I'm not is a monopolistic person. Look, they're all in confabulation. They agreed, hey, let's increase the price and let's screw the people. That I'm against. I'm all in favor of me saying, hey, I'll buy that for $10. Oh, I want 11. Okay, $10.50. That's capitalism. Saying I have all the beans, you have to pay what I ask you for. Why? Because I control the beans. That's where I have a problem. That's not capitalism. That, for those of you who do not understand economics, that is socialism. Because when one person controls everything, that's socialism. We don't call it that because that's a dirty word.
Uh, I do have an address for the folks who control at least 50% of the cost of oil. I have an exact address in the city of London, just for clarification. And also, today's the 20th of August. On August 19th, on the CBS Mornings show, um, Representative Nixon, Angie Nixon, was interviewed by the host there. And um, in that interview, they discuss her platform, and they asked about how she'll garner support for her platform, which includes universal health, child care, Medicare for all, a national rent freeze, and a billionaire tax. So that interview is available on the CBS network.
And, you,
CBS.
and for your information,
Mhm.
most Americans are in favor of that. Most
Okay.
Americans have no problem paying $1.99 a month to have Medicare for the rest of their life. They have no problem to have universal care. And most single mamas who vote a lot who cannot afford the daycare because it's not affordable, because what they make at $15 an hour would not pay what they have to pay for daycare, would have no problem with that whatsoever. Look, I'm going to say this: between you and me, there's a difference. I have a problem when we waste money on defense, but we don't have money to help the people. I have problems when we lower the taxes of the billionaires, but we have no money for Medicaid. And we cut Medicaid and we cut benefits for the poor. I have a problem with that. And I'm going to say this: you're in the minority in that group. The majority of the people think that the government should not be fucking them but helping them. And right now, most Americans feel that their government is fucking them and not helping them. So this is a reaction. And I'm not sure that when Republicans think that people are angry with this, I think that people are also realizing that Republicans have been lying to them for years. Republican has been misinforming them and has done nothing, nothing that benefits them. Rich? Yes. Powerful? Definitely. As a matter of fact, most Americans still think that the Department of Justice is hiding Epstein's files.
Oh
I'm sorry.
Lord.
And you could go all you want, but that's true. Okay? I'm not saying that I'm
Yeah,
one of them.
unfortunately,
Most
unfortunately,
America.
people think that.
Oh yeah,
Unfortunately, but I
and
don't think
most people.
people would be willing to give up their private health care for Medicare for all. I believe Americans enjoy the freedom of choice. They enjoy their
No. Oh,
freedoms.
ho, 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 ho. That's bullshit. First of all, we don't have choice. See, you're lying in one aspect. You're asking like we have a lot of choices. Normally, healthcare, and it's known in this country, is controlled by five major companies, and they set prices and they set the conditions, and we chose the one that we can afford, but not necessarily the one that we like. Those of us who've had the advantage in our lifetime to have had used private insurance and use Medicare, I would take Medicare 10 times a day. Let me tell you why. I had this discussion with my cardiologist. 90% of the doctors in this country take Medicare. The
Okay.
highest one that would take set insurance plans is 30%.
Okay.
And those are hospitals like Advent Health and Orlando Health that have tried to now control all medical treatment by doing their own thing. And that's 30%. 10% of the doctors accept Medicaid. 10%. PPOs is about 32. Advantage, 0. You have to be in the plan. Okay? So you cannot
Mhm.
take an advantage and go outside and say, hey. Americans are not happy with their health insurance. They are
They would
not.
prefer something like Obamacare then.
No, 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 no. What they're talking about is you have Medicare. Here's your Medicare card. You pay $199 a month for Medicare, and you go and see your doctors. Is there a deductible? Yes. Is there a deductible in your insurance right now? Yes. Sorry. Yes, there is. So don't stop saying, well, but there's a deductible. Yeah, there's a deductible in the plan that you have right now that you're defending. Okay, but 90% of the doctors do it because it's better managed, they pay faster, they don't come up with bullshit, and they don't challenge any charge if it's a legitimate charge. So,
So,
and does the government pay for it? Well, that's partially true and partially the government supplements it. But
okay.
it is a health plan that those of us who are in it, we pay $190 an average a month. Okay?
Right.
It's not free. So for those of you who
Right.
think it as free, it's not free. Medicare is you have to pay for it. It's $190 a month, just like any health insurance. The only thing that it doesn't come with this bullshit that you have high deductibles. It doesn't come like you have to use this hospital or that hospital, or you can only have one examination a year, or you cannot. We won't pay for these medications. No, Medicare, if it's a legitimate medication and the doctor prescribes it, under this Plan D, will pay for part of it. The problem is that we need to understand that we are not happy with what we have. And by the way, 32% of this country is on Obamacare. You know why?
Why is that?
Because their employees don't provide them insurance, and what they get paid, they cannot afford to get one. Or they have a pre-existing condition, which is another thing that if you go into Medicare takes care of seniors. And by the time we get there, we have a bunch of, they don't have anything like that. So the problem here is is it something that most Americans would like? Yes. But to say that Americans love their health insurance, bullshit. We don't. We accept that that's our only option.
That many Americans would not give up their private health care for Medicare for all. That's what I'm saying. Why not? Because again, the freedom of choice. And then going back to
freedom of choice, you have the freedom to say, I want to pay $500 a month instead of $200. Sure, if you want to do that, that's fine. Mm-hmm. Is it a better plan? No. Mm-hmm. That's the whole problem. It's not a better plan.
Was Obamacare supposed to resolve that or fill a gap?
Fill a gap, and it didn't resolve. No.
And in Obamacare, the government pays health insurers to provide the care, correct?
No. Obamacare subsidized. Let's say, okay, just to
okay.
The most you could afford is $80 a month. Let's say that's the most you could afford. Okay. Because you make $12 an hour, and you work at Wendy's, and you're not that smart, and you're not a genius. You have an IQ of 82 or 85. No. There's people out there, and we just don't want to talk about that because we think that everybody's the same, and that's the biggest bullshit that Republicans put out. So that person is working at Wendy's and does not have enough. So the most he can pay is 80, but the insurance costs 150. The government subsidizes 70. Says, hey, you need health insurance. We don't want you in the emergency room. We don't want you dying on the streets because you don't have health care. Here, we'll subsidize it, and that's fine. Hey, we subsidize McDonald's, for Pete's sake, over $10 billion a year. So if we could do that to McDonald's, we could do it for our citizens. Sorry. So don't get me started on that one. So they subsidize, and the people have health insurance, and they could go and see a doctor. Yes, it has the same problems that all health insurance have. Not every doctor accepts every plan. We know that. The only one that 90% of the doctors accept is Medicaid because it pays correctly and they doesn't give them a problem. So if you're going to tell me, hey, pay $500 a month and you can only see these 12 doctors, or pay $200 a month and you can see 90% of the doctors, people will choose correctly. You're right. They will choose correctly and say, I'm going with Medicaid. But the truth of the matter is, universal health care does not take away your right to do it. The problem that insurance companies are realizing is that if that comes, wait a minute, you telling me that I could go with Medicare, pay $200 a month, and I could pick any of these 22 cardiologists that accept it, or keep my insurance at $500 a month, and only these three cardiologists accept it.
Okay.
That's a choice that people will make, yeah.
Sure.
But that say that, you see, the problem is that you're parting from the false bullshit that's been put out for years. No. And the false bullshit is that Medicare is bad.
No, I never
I've
said that.
been on Medicare for the last 12 years. So is your mother. And your mother loves Medicare.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, she does. And I'm
Okay.
gonna love it when I qualify for it.
Well, and the problem that I have is why.
It'll be better than what I have right now.
Exactly. And if you're 50 and you get Medicare, it's better than any health insurance that's out there. They're not taking away your choice. That's the bullshit that they put out. They're taking away your choice. What choice? Look, you can't wait to be 65 to get on it. So if they give it to you at 50, what's your problem? You'll take it. Why? Because it's a great insurance. I'm sorry. This is the problem that I have. When people tell me, well, they're taking away your choice. What choice? Right. Here, 50. You want it at 65. Why don't you want it at 50? I'm sorry. It's just, this is the part that I cannot understand. You can't wait to have it. Well, would you prefer that? Would you like to have it at 50? Sure you would. That's all the universal health care is. That's the myth. Look, this country is based on what I call the media and other people putting out what I like to call misinformation. That's where the fake media comes from. Look, taking away your choices? No, you don't. You don't. You know, as a matter of fact, Obama should have clarified, look, you're not going to use your doctor if you know which company to pick and say, hey, doc, which is, you take PPO Humana? Yes, I do. Okay, but that's the one I'm buying. No, that's what everybody thought was going to happen. No, people went with the cheapest one, and then they went to the doctors, and the doctor said, I don't take that plan. And it showed the biggest problem that we have in this country is that we tend to think that we have the best medical treatment, which we do. What we don't have is the best insurance companies that look after us. But that's something for it. Look, universal health care for everybody, people are not against that. As much as the insurance companies are putting publicity out there against it, they're not against it. Republicans are against it because it's a democratic idea, not because it's a bad idea. Because all my Republican friends love it when they're on Medicare. They love it. You're full of hypocrisy. You know what's a better plan that you had when you were in the private sector? This is a much better plan.
I think the cost plays a great deal into their willingness to like the Medicare.
What cost?
The cost, the premium for Medicare.
It's much less than what you're paying right now. You're not paying $190 a month. You're paying much more than that.
No, I'm paying a lot less because I don't have any.
Okay, so you pay zero because you have zero. Okay,
that's right.
Okay,
it's expensive all around, Jimmy. It's expensive all around.
All around. Let me tell you, one of the most biggest benefits of taking Medicare is that the first year I saved $10,000 on health insurance. The first year.
Yep.
So when people no. Yeah. So let me go into one last thing that I want to go, and this is a prediction. Look, it's going to be a race of what I call crazy Republicans who say crazy things, like Nancy Nance, and who's a U.S. representative who thinks that Muslims should all be deported because this is a Christian nation. Those things are going to be published. People don't listen to that. Listen to one thing. Your conscience as to, are we doing better? Are prices fair? Is food at a reasonable price? Is the economy going the right route? And if you're interested in a ballroom, if you're interested in a reflecting pool, if you're interested in the Kennedy Center, if you're interested in more gold in the White House, vote Republican. I have no problem with that. The economy is hurting, and it's all about the economy. When you go out to vote in the next 3 months, today is the 20th of August. David said it correctly. We are about 60 days away or less of our election. You are going to have to make a decision. I'm not going to tell you how to vote, either Democrat or Republican, but don't be fooled by the bullshit. Nancy Nance is not on the ballot. Well, she is at home state. Donald Trump has said crazy things, and he's going to continue saying crazy things. And when you elected him, you knew he was going to do that, so don't act surprised. What's on the ballot is your pocketbook, your national security, and your ability to tell the people in Washington, in Orlando, in Orange County, no, I do not agree with your bullshit. I want a change. As a matter of fact, it's kind of interesting, but all the people who won last night in Florida for Congress, only 2 Democrats who are current members of the House, well, 3, I have to put in there, 3 got elected. The majority, the old timers, have got kicked out. But not only the Democratic Party, also the Republican Party, because you want a change. You don't want the same shit. If you don't want the same shit, you might want to think about it's time for a change. So vote according to your pocketbook, to your conscience, and to what is best in your interest. Do not let Fox News tell you how to vote. Do not let CNN tell you how to vote. Do not let News Nation tell you how to vote. Do not let MS Now tell you how to vote. NBC, CBS, or ABC. You are intelligent and you know what's best for this country. So with that in mind, I'm not going to go into any fuck-ups of the parties because those were major. But there's one thing I want to say. It is time for us to realize that we are not our enemies. We should not be fighting each other. We should not be calling us each other's names. Let the people in Washington know that you want a change, even if you're a Republican or a Democrat. You want the economy to do better, and you want the country to take a new course because you're not happy with it. With that, I will see you next week, which I hope we could talk to about the comments that we have, which we did not do today.
We got some
comments there, and some of them are not even flattering. And I like those. Yeah. Those are my favorite. They're not flattering because it shows me that people, I am stabbing a little point in your life that is good. So with that, I will see you all next week. And remember, the primaries are over in Florida. The consequences will be decided in November. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you, Jimmy. We'll see you the next time. I'll look for those UCF people too.
Okay. Do me a favor. Yeah.
All right. Bye now.